Welcome to Life with Beth and Court. I'm Beth.
I'm Court.
And today we're talking about communicating through conflict. We've been meaning to record this video for a very long time, and then there was sickness and travel and family and all of that, and now we're on our way to the next family event. This is gonna have to do, and that's okay. So, Court, do you remember when we were building the garden?
I do.
Do you remember when we planned for 2.5 hours that morning?
I do.
Do you remember when we got to the store and you said, oh my god, this is all so much more expensive than I thought?
I do.
We were on the same page when we first started out. When I make plans, I want to continue the plan as we planned it. When you make a plan, like, let's stick to the plan, because that's why you make a plan. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Okay. Courtney doesn't care about plans, really.
Sure don't.
She gets a little bit of a high from, let's just do what we want.
Sure do.
That day, I was getting frustrated because we had just spent all morning planning this garden. I did way more math than I'm comfortable with.
Then we got to the store, and as we were pricing out the actual cost, I'm like, I can't do this. I won't do this. I'm not spending $200 on one garden bed. So that made Beth Ann really frustrated.
Anyway, this specific garden story, we were in Home Depot. I had gotten quiet because that's kind of where I go. I kind of retreat when I start getting frustrated. Courtney started touching everything like a child, which I didn't realize until later. What were you doing?
I was grounding myself so I didn't punch her eyes through the back of her head.
So I just thought she was touching everything for, I don't know, tactile purposes. But really, she was channeling her inner calm so she didn't scratch my eyes out.
It's always your eyes. They're so pretty, but I just almost scratch them when I'm mad at you.
The thing is, when you get emotional, there's no more room for logic.
Another thing we started that day, I think you should tell me 3 things you love about me right now. It got a smirk out of her. She was like, right now? And I said, yeah, right now.
I don't want to squeeze your face in a mean way right now. I don't want to tell you what I love about you. Your brain can't be hateful and grateful at the same time. So I was not in a good space. I was in a bad way. Courtney was asking me to flip that over to be grateful. And so it takes you a moment, and like, probably don't say like, I like the shoes you're wearing today. Dig a little deeper.
Not only are you bringing yourself from your brainstem back to your prefrontal cortex, you're distracting yourself. So when you're upset, all you can focus on is what you're upset about. There's levels of escalation, and it's good to have a plan to catch it when you're down here, and then there's also an emergency plan you have when you're here, right? Because the goal is to make sure that you're not doing or saying anything hurtful that you can't take back. We would be proud of the fact for us that out of 3.5 years, we've never called each other a name. Once you say that, even if it's in the heat of the moment, it doesn't go away. It stays there that person called you that, and it doesn't feel good.
So when this stuff starts happening though, when we start identifying either in ourselves or in the other person that someone is getting frustrated, even if it's not both of us, if one of us is getting frustrated, that's when we have to just take a pause, but also identify when we're going to come back to it, because we can't let it sit for too long. How about we just pause right here? Obviously, we're both getting worked up and passionate about this, and we're going nowhere, so let's just come back to it in 20 minutes. So now let's talk about some phrases that we use when we communicate with each other, whether in conflict or not, just to make sure that the other person feels heard. One of Courtney's favorites is, what I hear you saying is.
That is one of my favorites. You want to make sure that you're hearing what the person needs you to hear, and so it's really easy when you're having a conversation to already be making up what you want to say next in your head. So what I hear you saying is, you're frustrated that we spent all morning making these garden plans and now we're not following through with them. And so it gives an opportunity for the person to say yes, and it automatically makes them feel better that you hear what they're saying. And the other beautiful part about paraphrasing is, if you're wrong, so say I said, you're frustrated because this project took all of our morning and I maybe got a piece of it, or I was way off base. It gives the other person an opportunity to correct and say, no, I'm upset because. So either way, you're either validating what they're saying so they feel heard, or you're getting to the bottom of what the real problem is.
One part that's important to know about this is that you don't have to agree with how they're feeling. You just need to accept that they do feel that way. So let's use that same example and say, what I hear you saying is, you're frustrated that we spent all morning planning the garden and now we're changing the plans completely. I say, yes, that's exactly what I'm feeling. She doesn't have to agree. She might think no, we didn't waste anything. Like, this is all part of the process.
I was like, we listened to good music, we had coffee, like, who cares?
Right, to her, it wasn't a waste of time at all. But it doesn't stop her from saying, I hear you, that this is how you feel. And immediately, like she said, it makes me feel calmer that I'm being heard. Using that same example, I'm saying, we wasted our whole morning. If she would have said, no, we didn't. We had a good morning. We drank coffee. We took our time. This is all part of the process. The reason it escalates me at that point is because you're not hearing me. I'm allowed to feel whatever I feel.
And it's a matter of pride at that point. I'm a prideful person. I'm stubborn. I like to get my way. I like to prove that I'm right. In the short term, it would make me feel damn good to prove that I'm right. But at the end of the day, what's best for our relationship is to validate the emotions of the other person. You have to swallow your pride a little bit and both be willing to enter this with the intention of the long-term goal is effective communication and not damaging the relationship versus someone being right in the moment. The reason that we're highlighting this is because when you're doing projects, conflict's going to happen and communication is essential. And so you'll see us weaving this theme throughout all of our stuff we share with you because we feel it's not only valuable when you're doing projects, but if you can learn these techniques, the benefit in the long run, the ripple effect it has is everywhere. So it's not just your partner, but then you'll start to notice that you're starting to communicate better and deal with conflict better at work or with your children or your family. We feel very strongly that communication and conflict are two things you have to continue to navigate and work through, and that the impact is huge and you see it everywhere.
What I hear you saying is that communication is really important.
That is what I'm saying.
Hey, I nailed it. So these are some of the behind the scenes topics, communication, money, budgeting. These are the things that they don't talk about on DIY channels, DIY shows. They're just like 4 easy steps to building a garden. Oh, and don't forget to plug in the fight you have in the middle. These are part of the things that we learn when we are doing the DIY projects. It's not always just about what was the best way to lay down a stone pathway. Like a lot of times it's how do we get through this and still like each other on the other side and help other people to do these projects, not get frustrated with each other, not give up on it, and ultimately build the life of your dreams, both on your property and in your relationships.
That's why we're different. It was corny, but I liked it.
Oh yeah, it just came out, just right out. That's all this week, guys. Thanks for hanging out, and we will talk to you soon.
Bye, guys.
This all just came to a very slow. Multiple people
Try again. Begin. Is that what they say? Action.
Begin
with a puppet hand.
That is the perfect storm for a storm.
To like a hurricane or tornado.
We'll say it's like a category 1 turning into
tornado.
Like a category 4.
Yes.
Subjects involved.
Try again.
Is
I'm sorry. That sign says "Don't wait, communicate." It's kind of perfect.
fire.
It's a fire. It's about an emergency action plan.
Oh, okay. I was like, why is good communication going to get you out of a fire? Well,
it would.
metaphorically.
Yeah.